Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you haven't been here before, welcome. My name's Peyton. So, you have created some fantastic, amazing, magnificent work, and you are ready to throw it out onto the World Wide Web and show the general public just how fantastic of an artist you are. Look at my beautiful paintings. Hold up. Wait. That photograph looks nothing like the original artwork. The colors are wrong. It's blurry and there's like weird shadows and what the heck's going on? Today we are going to be talking all about digitalizing and properly editing our artwork. Okay, so before we get into this, I want to first let you know that there are three major ways of digitalizing your artwork. Today we're only going to cover one. The first is you can take your artwork to a print shop and have them scan it and digitalize it and hand you a copy of the digitalized file. Second option is buy an at-home scanner and scan your artwork yourself. If you have larger pieces than the scanner allows for, you have to scan that piece of artwork in sections and then in the editing process, merge the pieces together. The way we're going to be talking about today is the way that I use, and that is using my DSLR camera to photograph my artwork and then pull it into the editing process to make the colors and the lighting and all of that look correct. Okay, so little disclaimer, I want to apologize for the rest of the video quality for this video. I only have one DSLR camera, and I use it to photograph my work. So the rest of this video will be used with my iPhone 6. Sorry, it's not the best quality. At least you'll be able to see how I do things. So when you hang up your artwork, make sure that the edges are as flat against the wall as possible. You don't want a bunch of curving in your lines and all of that, because it'll kind of mess with the proportions. So I then just set up my camera, and I use autofocus because it makes it easier than using manual mode. And once that is done, I double check the clarity of the image, and then once it's good, on to the next one. For paintings that you can't hang up, this is actually MDF board. You just prop up and then readjust as needed to line up the edges with the edges of your viewfinder. If it's not lined up, you just readjust and then click away. I actually chose these two paintings in particular so I could show you what it was like to edit a painting with pure whites and blacks and then paintings without any pure colors. Okay, so for this orca painting, I realized that because of the gloss, he doesn't do as well outside. So I think I'm going to experiment and try some indoor natural lighting and see how that does. Also, it's getting really snowy and rainy and wet outside, and so the nice thing about this painting is it's got that varnish on it. But I still don't want it getting ruined some other way, so we're going to try this again. Okay, so as you can see, even inside there's like these shines and stuff, and so I'm just gonna maneuver and manipulate it. Okay, so it doesn't appear to have too much shine here, and I know it's hard to see because you're also seeing the reflection in the viewfinder thing, but we are going to try this. Okay, so I've opened up the first image in Photoshop, and as you can see, this is what the raw, unedited photo looks like. So the first thing that I do is I pull up this tool called the perspective tool, or perspective crop tool. I like it a whole lot better than the regular stuck in format type crop tool. This one is super nice because you can manipulate the edges. So what I do is just do a basic draw out the line of the artwork that I'm editing, and then I go around to all of the edges one by one, each of these little dots you see on the corners. You can pull them wherever you'd like. So I just nose it up to the corner as best as I can. And then as I do this, I verify that you can't see any of the wall behind it. See right there, you can see the tiniest little bit. So I'll just barely drop it down because I'd rather lose some of that than be able to see the wall on the background. And then just maneuver this guy. And as you can see, it doesn't affect any of the other positions when you manipulate it. Bring this guy in, bring this up a tiny bit. Everything looks good. Bring that in a tiny bit. And now you can see why it's so important to lay down your paper flat. And this is what it looks like once I press enter and crop it out. It's in a perfectly proportionate rectangle. Next, I duplicate this background layer. And actually, this photograph turned out really, really nice. This background is a little bit darker than the real life version, but this dog actually photographed almost identical to the artwork. So I really don't have to do much. I'm just going to go into levels. That's where I normally start. And since this is a pure white background, I honestly could just drop the dropper on the background of the painting, but if it wasn't, I'd be going around in the painting looking for pure white if possible. For the next painting, I'll show you what to do if there's really not a ton of pure white, because that painting has pretty much no pure white. Okay, so then I clicked the sampler, and as you can see, it did a pretty good job. Every now and then, the lighting will go all crazy wacky, but for this one, it turned out pretty darn nice. As you can see up in this top corner, it's still got a little bit of a shadow. It's not quite as white as the rest of the background. Down here, it looks really, really good. Up in the other corner, it looks good. But it really just needs a couple of little tweaks, and what you can do is even come up here and move these little toggles around, and it will slightly adjust the coloring of your painting. Just make little tweaks in here. You can also go wacky, but I'd never do go that wacky. But it's nice because you can just barely tweak it. Then once you're done with that, you can go back to the layers and click on your duplicate background layer. Next, go over and grab the brush tool. Make sure that it says overlay up here. And I like to do 2, 3, 4% up here, but I think I'm going to do 2. Make sure that this is white because you want to lighten this area and not darken it. So then we're just going to gently brush over the area that we want to lighten, and having it this low definitely helps with the blending effect because you don't want these just sharp white lines, which is another reason why I do it at such a low percentage. So I'm just barely brushing over this, trying to avoid the painting of the pup, and you just kind of sweep it over. Do know that once you go over an area, you have to click again in order to continue lightening. It's not however many swipes you do, it will lighten it. It's actually however many passes with clicks intertwined you do. I don't know. You'll have to mess with it. Um, but I like to go over and blend it into the areas that I'm comfortable with. And so that would be the left corner, or excuse me, right. Do I know my left and rights? It's the left corner we're lightening, the right corner we're okay with, but we're just going to barely touch over into that. But you can see just how crazy the opacity settings will do. 100% made that giant blotch, and even at 23%, it's still a very noticeable circular splotch, which is why it's so important to do it at such low settings. Undo all that, go back to, let's do 2% again, and then just keep wiping over it. It's going to take a couple of passes to get it to the color that you want, but doing it slowly but surely will make it look so much smoother, so much more professional, and make it look a lot more like the original painting. So this is looking pretty darn good. What I like about using this method is you still get to keep these shadows around the dog. I've tried other methods like using the select tool and just wiping out the background, but especially with the signature, this way it just works a lot better in my mind, in my opinion. So anyways, I'm going to save this since I like it the way it is as a Photoshop so I can keep all those layers and stuff. So save it in the Photoshop format just in case you upload it somewhere with a white background later and you notice that the white background of the website makes your painting look not so white in the background of the painting, if that makes any sense, and you need to go back and fix it, you can. And I always keep like crazy file records of all my work. So I went into my portrait or my portfolio area. No, I don't want to do that. So I went to my portfolio, then I went to Best Fine Art, and then I have a pet portraits folder. I'm naming it Romeo because that's the pupper's name. Okay. And then once I've saved that, then I want to flatten those layers. And so I go to Layer, Flatten Image. It compacts the size of everything. And then I save as again and save it as a JPEG. Romeo, it's going to be in the same folder, Pet Portraits. I save it at the highest quality. And that one is done and ready to go. That was actually a lot easier. Normally, portraits or paintings with white backgrounds do not go that smooth. So for this next one, I'm going to look at all the different files. You can see that this one has that shine to it, and I don't like that at all. And that's pretty much impossible for me to edit out. So I'm going to go with one of these guys. And I'm going to look at the two of them. I'm going to go with, let's see, I'm going to look at both of them real quick and just look at the quality of the photo, make sure they're not super blurry. They're pretty darn dark, but I think I'm going to go with this one. Yeah. Okay, so I'm opening the photo that I want to use. Open image. And so we're going to use our perspective crop tool yet again. Get everything lined up. Okay, so now I've got everything cropped and the duplicate background layer made. Now we're going to levels and doing the same thing that we did last time. There's no pure white in this painting. There's no pure black either because the black of the orcas That was made by me mixing a bunch of colors together. I rarely use pure black. I used to use it a lot, but I do it less and less nowadays. So this, all that black is not real black. It was actually purple at one point. So I can't use that white tool. Um, so our options are pretty much to, you can always test stuff out, but even clicking that pure white, um, it helps a lot to lighten the painting, but we can't we can't just go straight from here and then do what we did the last time with the, I believe photographers actually call it dodge and burn when you lighten over the photos. So what we're going to do is mess with the vibrance. This is a whole lot of experimenting. You just kind of have to mess with stuff, and I can see that I don't even know what that is. For the purpose of this video, we'll continue to use this photo. However, just seeing that, I know that that's not in the painting. I've got the painting right here in front of me, and so I'll have to probably rephotograph again. But that's all right. We'll continue editing this one. Vibrance is sort of working, but not well enough, so I'm going to delete that. But first, I'm going to mess with hue and saturation a little bit. Purpley, not so bad. With paintings like this, you just have to dabble, and that's okay. Let's try something else. I need to delete both of those. Delete. Yep. And delete. Yep. I'm going to keep levels there. And let's try color balance. Those are the three that you kind of mess with. Vibrance, hue and saturation, and then color balance. And this one's always really nice. You can tweak all of these and get all kinds of different hues made. The thing about this painting is that it's almost got like a turquoisey water to it. Not super turquoisey, but definitely not this blue either. That's way too blue. So just kind of mess around and tweak things until you eventually get what you want. So this is actually looking really good to me. There's this weird little spot right there that's not in the painting. So what I'm going to do is flip this over to black instead of white. Pull out the little brush tool. And what am I doing? There we go. Get the black, get the brush tool, and make this down to the tiny little dot that that little splotch is, and just darken it the same way that we lightened that other area to the other painting. And voila, it's gone. It looks like it should. Now that I have it the way that I like, now I can just go through the same process that we went through with the last one and flatten down the layers, save them to the Photoshop format and the JPEG format, and you're good to go. Ready for putting on to Instagram, Facebook, your website, wherever. You now have a professional looking photo. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this video helped and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to check out my social media platforms. Instagram and Facebook are both Artwork by Payton, and check out my website, artworkbypayton.com, where you can find just about everything on this channel for sale, as well as a bunch of stuff that I paint behind the scenes. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Friday and a great weekend. I hope to see you next Tuesday for our Tuesday sketchbook study, and again next Friday for our weekly Friday video. Have a fantastic day and a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Thanks guys. Bye.